What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New reaction. Today we're going to be reacting. I'm going to be reacting to a video by Uso Ron from the 30 to Life channel. If you're not already subscribed, do me a favor and subscribe to this guy's channel. His story is unique in a way. Unfortunately, I guess going to prison in California isn't very unique, but he had a 30 to life sentence, and I believe his case was overturned. I can't remember. It's been a while since I saw that video, but go back and check that video out and everything else he's been doing lately. I've already seen some of this video, and you'll see, it takes a real man to humble himself. And anybody that's ever met a Samoan, you guys know these guys are gentle giants, man. They're the most humble, nicest people you could meet, but they're also very private. So his last two, well, not his last two, but this video and another one that he did on a secret of within the Samoan culture, those are very impactful videos that I saw, but I wanted to react to this one. So this isn't going to be a funny video. This is me reacting to a fellow former lifer.
Man, what's up, everyone? I know it's been a minute, so I'm here to explain myself. Shit's been rough in my life, but I know shit's been rough in everybody's life. But I want y'all to know something, man. I've been being a real sucker lately, and didn't realize that I had a lot of internal shit that was going on within me. And so my reason for apologizing to y'all is because I've been running from myself. I've been running from my fam. I've been running from, just everything from y'all.
Now, to interrupt real quick, how many of you guys have taken your own inventory like this? See, former lifers, we do this. We have to do this. The average person goes from 0 to 100, right? As far as their anger or whatever and how they react. A former lifer is at 80. To go from 80 to 100, it's not a long trip. And so it's important that we check ourselves and admit when we're lacking, when we're shortchanging ourselves and those that we love, those who depend on us, those who look up to us. So hopefully you guys will hear this video and do some self-reflection.
And I was doing all this not realizing it. You know what I'm saying? I just was numbing myself all the time. I was running to the weed, smoking a lot of weed just to say I'm good, and I wasn't good. I wasn't. And what makes me feel real guilty about letting y'all down is the fact that I would run into y'all every once in a while out there in them streets, and y'all always had something positive to say to me, like, Uso Ron, we really appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a good thing, Uso Ron. But to tell y'all the truth, I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. All I knew is I didn't even want to be on the camera no more. I didn't want the responsibility of helping you guys because I couldn't help myself. I got really into a dark place, y'all.
I will say this, as a former lifer, I've been out almost 6 years. I've shared myself with you guys for that amount of time, almost the whole time I've been out, right? My life I'm blessed. Every day I'm blessed. But there are times when it does become overwhelming. Having lived a life of incarceration and criminality, there are things to this day that I don't know how to do and I have to rely on other people for. Part of that is probably laziness. But for the average person, so-called average person, to find themselves overwhelmed out here, imagine for somebody what it's like for somebody who's been incarcerated their whole life or caught up in the criminal world and lived by that type of lifestyle, right? Now, I will say that I see a lot of people out here, the majority of people, vast majority of people who have lived their lives out here, the things that stress them out, I know they're in their mind are so big, but in the grand scheme of things, once you've been a lifer, once you've had your freedom once you've given up your freedom, because that's what I did. I chose to kill someone and gave up my freedom. But given this second opportunity out here, I see what a lot of people out here stress on, and I'm like, damn, man, like, you have so much shit going for you. That's what you focus your energy on. It's the reason why I don't get into the beef on YouTube, and I don't bite into the trolling stuff. It's like, at the end of the day, I cannot control what people do or what they think or what they say about me. And none of that changes who I am. I say it all the time.
And I started abusing marijuana a lot more, just trying to numb myself, not realizing what I was doing. And I know now that I was running, but I got so deep in this dark place that I was doing stupid shit, y'all. I was heading back to the penitentiary. I was heading to death. And I was cool with that.
I'm glad that Uso Ron was only messing with weed because I know several lifers that got out and were doing really good out here, man. Doing great. And because they were doing so good out here and they had such good jobs and so many people around them that loved them, they got comfortable. They let their guard down. They both died of overdoses to heroin.
Because I just wasn't man enough to face everything that was going on in my life. A lot of people from the outside looking in will say, man, Ron got it good, man. He got that life that I want. You know, I got a family. You know, I got a wife and kids. I got a nice house. You know what I'm saying? But none of that shit means nothing when you ain't right inside of here. You know? I don't give a fuck about none of this shit. I really don't. Because my inner peace is just fucked up. So I can't even look people in the eye. Because inside I don't look good, you know what I'm saying? Inside. So I got so deep into this dark place, y'all, to where I started self-destructing really bad. I was trying to fight motherfuckers in them streets like I was 19 or something. Running up on motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And I didn't care if a motherfucker had a gun or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, it didn't matter to me. I didn't care if anybody seen me acting a fool, if the police seen me acting a fool. Because I was self-destructing. Because when the weed became no longer the thing I need to help me, I just decided to give up. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want to go back to the pen.
There it is there. At the end of the day, man, like people say, your best day in prison is worse than your worst out here. I mean, I don't even know if I said that right. All I know is there's nothing in prison that can compare to out here. Nothing. And I'm glad that in the midst of his thing, his, I don't know if it would be like a meltdown or his dark process that he was going through, I'm glad that he realized that at the end of the day, he didn't want to be in prison again. And I'm glad that when he was acting a fool, he didn't hurt anyone or himself and wind up back in prison.
You know what I'm saying? I spent 10 years of my life in there. Before that, I spent 3 years in YA. I went in when I was early 20s, came home 30s. I done lost my old 20s. I done lost my teenage years. Y'all already know. When I first started this channel, I started it to share my experiences because why? Because I had no one to talk to about what I was going through.
Mm.
So I got into this dark place, and
You know what? Real quick, I want to say something about that. When I paroled, I was banned from Santa Barbara. I was banned from Santa Barbara County for the first 6 months. So I was paroled to San Diego, right? And while I was in San Diego, it was like anytime a new lifer paroled, we went, scooped him up, even if we didn't know him, took him to Tacos El Gordo, paid for him to have something good to eat, told him how things were going with us and what to expect. Let him know you need a ride, we got you. One of us will take care of you. Here's our numbers. Excuse me. It was a community. And then, once I was off parole, I came right back home. And a lot of us did. And while we still, some of us keep in contact, it isn't like before. But when we do talk, we all say, damn, man, I miss San Diego. Because we had that camaraderie. I think I compare it to what I think military guys go through. You got the military guys that never went to war. Then you got the ones that did. The bond that the ones that went to war have built, the understanding of what they had. They could have been in different services, different branches. One guy's Army, one guy's a Marine. But they were both there, and so they both understand. That's the same thing it is for a lifer. I see people, there are things that sometimes go through my head that I'm like, none of these people know what the fuck's going through my head right now, right? So I get what he's saying, man. And that's why it's important to have a community with that you can communicate with that have a similar past.
I thought I'd reach out to somebody who been there before, who did time in prison. And, he's kind of like a guru on YouTube now. I know y'all figure out who the fuck I'm talking about.
I think we all know exactly who he's talking about. He doesn't want to say his name. I won't either. I'll try not to. But I do a lot of videos on him. And a lot of people get on my bumper. And I want you to hear what Uso Ron has to say.
But I thought, man, you know what? If I message this guy, let him know what I'm going through, how the pen fucked me up and shit. I got PTSD, everything, all this shit going on with me. I thought maybe he could just give me like a little pointer, you know what I'm saying? Or just even say, I understand, But he didn't answer.
Surprisingly.
And I'm glad he didn't. Because all he wanted to do is sell me a program anyway.
So I'm not going to say nothing about it. I just want Uso Ron's words to set in for those that think that dude is a savior, that he really has a blessed heart and a good heart. And he really loves you like he says. He had a fellow ex-convict in a very dark spot. 99.9% of us, men, vast majority, but especially ex-cons, dudes that grew up in the criminal world, it's very hard to ask someone else for help. For Uso Ron to be at that point where he reached out and he asked for help, to be denied, instead offered a program, that speaks volumes. Fuck what people have to say. Watch what they do.
You know what I'm saying? And I realized at that moment, Ron, nobody's coming to save you. So I either sink or swim. Mm-hmm. And I choose to swim.
Absolutely.
Before I move on, though, I do want to say this. I reached out to somebody else. A really good brother of mine. A brother from another mother. I call him my Uso. Uso in Samoan means brother. And he's Palangi. He speaks more Samoan than me. Loves our culture. But I hit him up. This man done did 32 years in prison. And he ain't even been home a whole year yet. And I hit him up and he called me back. He called me back. And man, let me tell y'all something, man. Like a little girl, I cried on that phone.
Absolutely.
And told him everything that I was going through. And he listened without judgment. And he came over to my house.
I want to say real quick. You know, Usuran just said, I cried like a little girl. And I know he said that without really thinking about it. To me, a man who can cry is confident and has strength and knows who the fuck he is. A man who's embarrassed to cry has issues. When you've been through the fire and you understand who you are as a man, if you got to shed a tear, fuck what somebody else thinks about it. We need to get that out of our heads, that machismo, especially raza. Get that out of your head, that crying is feminine. If you're crying for attention, that's feminine. If you're crying because you're hurting, physically, mentally, or emotionally, ain't nothing wrong with that.
House, like the next day, to talk with me. And he reassured me that I was a fighter. He reassured me that I was solid as fuck in the penitentiary and that he always respected my whole get down. But all he saw at this moment was a weak old man. But he didn't judge. He just gave me nothing but love and support, gave me the knowledge he could give me to help me get through. So in a way, I was saved in a way, yes. But at the end of the day, let me tell y'all something, man. It doesn't matter what anybody does for you. Mm-hmm. If you don't feel right inside, you got to fix you. A person can hand you tools, but if you don't use them or apply them, you're going to stay in the same motherfucking spot you always been. And I realize now that I've been running. I use weed to numb me, to say I'm good. I don't need my mom. I don't need homies. I don't need my fam. I don't need nothing. I just want to sit here and be high.
You know, it's unfortunate in a way. Well, it's fortunate that he got out after only 10 years. He said 10 years, right? So, or 13 because he did white time. I don't know exactly how much he did on his stretch. But I will tell you this. As a lifer in California that gets released through the parole board, we have to be evaluated by a psychologist before we even see the board. See, it's not like the movies. People don't understand in California. I don't know about any other state, but in California, you have to be evaluated by a psychologist. The psychologist is going to rate your risk level to society. I got something in my damn eye. It's going to rate your threat level to society, right? And you're going to have a low, a medium, or a high risk. High risk, you're not going nowhere, right? So you have to have an interview with this person. They rate you. Then you go before the board. They're going to have a hearing with you. It could be up to 8 hours long. Then if they find you suitable, the governor still gets to review you, right? The way that you are going to get a date in California is you have to develop personal insight. You have to go all the way back to your earliest memory. You have to figure out why and where you made it okay within your mind to hurt people, to stab people, to kill people, to, you know what I mean? These things, how did you, what point in your life did you justify it? What did you do along the way to solidify that mindset. Because see, if you can't identify those things, then you can't fix them. That's like if your transmission is out in your car and you go to a mechanic that doesn't know how to fix cars really, and you don't know anything, and you tell him, you know what, I think if you change the spark plugs, it'll probably work. And so he does it. The transmission is out. The fuck do the spark plugs have to do with it? But see, you don't know, you can't diagnose the problem, and either could this person you're talking to, right? So that's the one thing unfortunate in Uso Ron's case is he didn't have to develop personal insight because he got out through the courts, I believe, right? Because had he gone through what the rest of us had to go through, you have to go all the way back, man, and it's painful. You got to go back to them ugly times. You have to figure out who you were before you became the animal. Then why you became the animal. And then you can get back to who you're really supposed to be.
So I didn't realize that the reason why I was running to these other things and running from myself is because I was carrying a lot of shit within me. A lot of childhood trauma, a lot of fucking PTSD shit going on in my head. You know, all the years I spent in prison, years I spent in CYA. That shit took a toll on me as a kid, you know? So deep down inside, I'm a kid. I might be 47 years old right now, but I don't even know who the fuck I am. I've been me 47 years.
You know, and I'm not going to mention the person's name because everybody's freaking out. Why are you making? But I just did a video a couple weeks ago on somebody who was recently killed. And I said, he didn't even know who he was yet. There's so many people, especially out here on the streets. You know, prison forces you. I learned it in YA, perfected it in prison. I can meet somebody and within a couple words, or at least a few minutes of conversing with this person, I can know who they are. I can know who a lot of people are better than they know themselves. That's a gift and a curse. People have so many issues in their lives because of that one thing. They do not know who they are. They do not know what makes them tick. I would say over 90% of people don't even realize your happiness, your sadness, your anger, your hate. It doesn't come from an outside place. It comes from within you. Somebody does something, you have the choice to be angry or sad or mad. What they did, if it triggers an emotion in you, if you would just take a step back and figure out what emotion it was and what was the trigger. What was it? Somebody cut you off. Why? Why were you mad though? If you got mad that somebody cut you off, why? Do you feel they disrespected you? Because they don't. They were going about their day. You chose to feel disrespected and then you chose to be angry. I know this is a lot deeper than people, really want to go, but if you do start doing that and you do start recognizing you are creating the anger and the hate, that is within you and you're choosing to make it come alive. Once you learn these things, you have a whole lot more peace in your life. There's still 7 minutes and some seconds left on this video, as you can see on the bottom. I'm not going to do the whole video. I would ask instead that you guys go and see this video and support this man and his channel. Let him know you just let him know you support him, man. It's important. His channel's a whole lot bigger than mine, but let's get it bigger. With that, everybody please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them. Also, hit the subscribe button and hit all. I appreciate you. I'm out.